This video, we're going to be going over yesterday's price action for the 6th of August 2025. We're going to go over the charts real quick using the EOD method. Before I actually prepare my trading day for today, I'm going to show you what happened yesterday, and this way I'm going to be training my eyes. But before I get into that, yesterday I released a video about what the pyramid of success in trading really consists of. So it actually consists of three bases. So if this was the pyramid, it would have three layers. One, that's the base, and then two, which is the middle, and then the top. Now, these are things you need to focus on to become a good trader. Um, I'm going to go over them real quick. So the base. The base consists of three things. The first one is process over results and over profits. So essentially in that section, what you want to do is judge yourself by your execution and not your P&L. And what do I mean by this? That I mean by watching the charts, um, executing your system, and then judging yourself based on that execution. For example, if I were to buy the DAX right now, my system at this very moment doesn't have a position for me. So that would be a random entry. I should judge myself based on that. The second part is risk management, which essentially is the ability to survive bad trades. So, you're there for the great ones, to have the ability to continue to trade. And then finally, daily improvements, which is reviewing the markets, replaying your trades, and basically refining your decision making. While the middle part is pattern recognition, essentially finding the Ace Plus setups you understand best, the ones that make you the best money, and then finding the ones that are not working for you to remove them so you can increase your effectiveness and decrease the poor decision making. Um, the second part of the middle is patience, essentially just waiting for your trades instead of forcing action. And that's something that I really want to go over in my school community, which is how to have the patience to wait and the confidence to execute with size. I think that's a big one. And I did that yesterday very, very well, and I'll show you um, in the charts. The third part of the middle is the adaptability, essentially being just as ready to buy as you are to sell, being ready to switch direction, allowing this would allow you to basically focus on the most important thing, which is the third part, the top, execution, pulling the trigger without hesitation when your setups appear. So having the goal of making a profit, not just trading for fun. Anyway, so I've had a lot of trades yesterday. Yesterday was an interesting day. I cleared a very solid P&L here. So that's for yesterday. I had a lot of trades, and you can see pip-wise, obviously the biggest ones were in gold, but I did grab plenty of these trades. Now I did go live as well for about 45 minutes, and we're gonna kick off with the DAX, and we're just gonna go over the 5-minute chart here. So when the DAX began trading yesterday, the market was quite interesting. So I'll just map it like this. There's my daily sellers, there's my daily buyers, and what we notice is that price action in the early Asian session, first of all, we hit the weekly level over here. Here we form a nice little VCP pattern with the lowest heading higher towards a resistance, and the DAX shoots upwards. After that, we come back to the weekly level, which is 561 in this case, quite extended for the bulls. We form a lower high in this area and come right back down to the seller zone, which we reject 2 times, forming a double top on a minute chart, and we come down to the buyers. We fake out a little bit here and come right back in. Now, this gave me the cues that the, the price is most likely going upwards. And I can show you here an execution trade right there, 68 points on this one, this trade here. So I executed that trade on the pullback. Essentially, the way I look to execute positions is because the buyers had held this zone, and what started happening after that is we started forming higher lows. All of these pullbacks are moving upwards, and you can see that trade right there. I executed on this pullback here, and I end up coming out with a 68 point profit as we passed the weekly level. Now I did have some more trades on the DAX, like this one here, 58 points. I'll show you here. So 58 points right there, right of the 461 level. As price action came down, because now I'm in buy mode, I'm looking to execute buy positions. I ended up taking this trade and coming out at the daily level. I had another 54 points here. I had another 53 points there. I had another 50 points over here, and another right there at the breakout, 48 points on the DAX, and finally 42 as well here at the breakout. And the last trade right there, pull back into the 461 area, and I'm out. In overalls, you can see the chart then continues. Price action does hold the VWAP over here, and as you can see on my chart here, as the new day begins, we end up holding this level here, which is the previous daily buyer zone, and we just shoot up to 6618 and a little bit beyond. So interesting day on the DAX. Moving over to the Nasdaq, let's go over this together. So the Nasdaq was also fabulously beautiful, and I'm going to show you this. So the black levels are the daily fibs, the purple are the weekly levels um, based on the fibs. In any case, let's continue with price action here. Okay, so price action begins. There's my daily last buyers and sellers. The market opens up, we end up holding the VWAP nicely. We come here, we reuse the sell zone, we come to 261 on the daily. We then retest on 161 on the daily and use the buyers as a support, the sellers as a support. And you can see here, same thing. So the buyers are in control in my book. We're also forming higher lows in a sense in the market. And you can see then the VWAP, then the sell zone, then the weekly and the daily levels, and we just kind of steamroll upwards. And I got a lot of profits here, so I did pretty good. But the main context is that I'm always watching my daily levels, I'm watching my daily fibs, extensions of those levels, and I'm watching my weekly levels. That's this here. So you can see price action does make a very solid move. In overalls, this trade here, let me show you, US, I ended up clearing a solid chunk of my profit on Nasdaq, 2.5k actually on the Nasdaq. Two losses, I'll show you. Just two losses here, and the rest were all gains. So you can see here yesterday, and then two losses, and then the rest were all pretty solid winners. And I'm gonna go over those winners, not all of them because there's many, but I'll just go over the biggest ones. So 75 points here. Let's go over that together. 75 points here. So price action does use the support area here. We come here as a retest. I get in. I end up holding until the VWAP and eventually coming out manually here. That was my biggest winner on in terms of monetary gain on Nasdaq. Could have made much more, but you know what? Happy with the profit. Another trade here. Another one here. Another one there. Another one there, another one there, another one there. So you can see the majority of my trades in that zone there. I don't really trade the Nasdaq much beyond that. I took a buy here, came out there. So yeah, a good gain. It just shows you that you don't have to, ride to specific take profit area. It's just about doing your execution correctly and everything will fall into place. While gold was also very interesting. So I'll just go to the 5 minutes here. And here are my daily levels. So check this out. So gold, I ended up making a good profit side. How does the market move? There's the sell zone, there's the buy zone. We come out, we come back in. VWAP retest, support over here, resistance there, we move down. We come back to the VWAP on the minute chart. We form a head and shoulders at two crucial levels. The first one is the VWAP and the second is the daily sell zone. Also, we are at the weekly level. That's the 8618. We come down, we come back to the VWAP, we come down. We build a frame here at this level using resistances at 2618, and then we come down. So I make a profit here, I make a profit there, I make a profit here. Now, price action makes a pullback. I attempt to take some shorts here. These end up losses. And then I notice that price action is now forming higher lows. We end up coming to the VWAP, and I traded this live here. I ended up buying here. When price dropped below, I came out, took some losses, and then as we went back in, sized up, breakout, sized up at the support of the VWAP, because for the first time in the day, we're actually shifting. Since Asia, we've been rejecting the VWAP, and you can see this. And then we shift above, hold it as a support, push to the buyer zone. I get out, VWAP again, and you can see the buyers were kind of out of this market. It's a different story today. You can see that we are above this zone, so I'm going to start buying this real quick. I'm going to put a pending order down. If it does come down one more time, I'm going to get in, because what you see here is a retest of 3618. We're also above the buyer zone, which we'll talk about in a minute. Oil, huge wins on oil. I really smashed it here. So as we were above, let me just go to the 5 minutes here so it can be seen easier. So as we go, we've been above this whole zone, the buyers and the sellers on Friday yesterday. So we come below this weekly level, 2618, take two sells, we go above, I get out. I take another sell here, it was a little bit too fast, and I come out and then the market shoots up. So as that was happening in the live, I said, listen, if these buyers leave this market, this thing's gonna tumble. And it was the crude oil inventories. That's why it moved up. So I put a pending order and I get in, sized up. Then as we start going back up, I start building it at the VWAP. You can see here, because the VWAP was a support, the market did move up. There were buying opportunities. The system was giving them to us. Resistance, VWAP, breakout, bullish. So I didn't take that. I was kind of positioning myself for sell positions. We break. I end up taking a lot of profits here. I could have held on longer, but anyway. Come out here, price action pushes up, we reject the sellers, we come out to the buyers, so I go again, sell, 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 free sells, and I get out here. There were more opportunities, but you know what, I'm happy. Euro USD was an interesting one yesterday. So let's go over this. So there's your buyers, sellers, reversal head and shoulders on the 1 minute, resistance, resistance. We hold this area, we're above the VWAP, we build a contraction, we get out, retest, and then it's just higher lows. Look at that. So price action just keeps forming these higher lows and moving upwards. So I made a pretty good gain on Euro as well. It was a very solid day. And what I'm going to do now is just prepare my day for today, and you guys can watch me do it real quick. So we're going to start off with DAX. I'm just going to do all of the assets I trade. There's my sellers right up here. So we're touching the weekly zone here, so I'm going to get in, and we're at the sell zone. So that's the sellers of yesterday. That's where they positioned themselves. They did leave here, and we went up. We're testing the VWAP now in 561. And then my buyers are right here. That's my last buy zone. And these are the only levels I focus on when I trade. And you can see we're holding that level. I could have bought there. Moving on to Nasdaq. We're going to position ourselves here as well. So far, the sellers are out of this market and the buyers are completely in control. Seems like a pretty solid open is coming up. And then my last buyers, well, they would be down here, I guess. That happened right. They came in right at the shift, so I'll just place them right there. So that's my buyers, and these are my sellers. We are above 461. We're getting a little bit extended for the week. I'm not going to place my fibs yet, but it looks good. Gold, so far, playing around. Let's remove the previous fibs. We don't need them anymore. And let's put our buyer zone, which is right at the weekly. You can see the buyers are already in control. So buyers, new day, buyers. See that? And then the sellers, well, they came in here. And then you can see that we retested that area just now. So if I was a little bit more sharp, I could have gotten in here at that pullback. So price action tap starts going up. That's my execution to go up. Furthermore, price action for the day is high, sorry, low, higher low. So it seems like a potential bullish day. Um, WTI. WTI, it's an easy one. We're above the zones, so I'm just going to map this one here. This is where the last sellers came in. Might be another easy trading day towards the downside. We'll see. And then the buy zone is right here. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I am ready to start trading. I didn't do euro. Euro USD very bullish. So we just tested the buyers, the sellers. Oh, I keep messing it up. So there's the sellers, and here's the buyers, and you can see that the buyers are again one more time in complete control of this market. So I'm just gonna take a buy position, just go with one lot, and this would be my profit area. I don't play stops when I'm trading manually, meaning that I'm at my station. Um, I monitor everything myself, and that's it. Okay, I'm done. Remember what I spoke about the process of the pyramid? So just to remind you one more time, the structure is quite simple. It's the base, which is process over results, risk management, and daily improvements. The daily improvements is probably the most important part for all of you, and I would say that it's basically sitting down and doing what I just did, but adding one more layer to that would be checking where the good trades were, and then understanding that all you have to do is wait, because in the middle you have pattern recognition, patience, adaptability. So doing those reviews will help you understand the markets better and know why you need to have patience. You'll understand pattern recognition, and you'll be able to adapt to market environments like on gold, where the market was shifting towards the downside and then switch towards the upside. And finally, all of those things, so the base, the middle, will lead you to a flawless execution. Thank you for watching this longer video, and I'll see you in the next one.